so here we are.
We're here.
This is testing.
We're back. So I am Erica Dahl with McDonald Construction.
And I'm Greg Hammer with Hammer Home Group and McDonald Construction.
Yes, and we are standing in a new home that was a teardown. So in this video, we're just gonna talk about what does a teardown look like? What are the obstacles? Why do customers decide to do a teardown? So Greg, you're the expert. Should we get started?
Yeah,
okay.
So right now we are on Bald Eagle Lake, right in Lino Lakes actually. You know, in order to get lakefront, there's not a lot of open lots just kind of laying around. So
Absolutely.
these homeowners, they actually had an existing home that they purchased. It was in pretty good shape, but they wanted to expand. So what they ended up doing too is they donated a lot of the pieces of their home to Better Futures. Really nice tax credit. So
yes, and we'll do another video on that and that partnership. So stay tuned. But yes, so they bought this home, but they loved the land. Is that kind of why people buy the teardowns, Greg?
Yeah, you know, when you're looking at the teardown opportunities, you're going to be typically those pieces of land that are no longer available. They've already gotten built on, so they're considered typically, you know, a little bit more of those desirable pieces. So, you know, you are gonna, you know, pay a little bit of a premium for the teardown, but you're gonna, you know, get the land you want in the home you want. And
maybe in the school district that you want, right? Maybe you already have a family that's established, so you love your neighborhood or you love the city you're in. But like you said, there's not a lot of homes that are available on lakefront. So for this specific one, they bought it and tore it down. So talk about maybe some obstacles then, Greg, when we are doing a teardown. Yeah, so it is really important to understand what cities you're working with, what the existing site looks like. Every lot is going to be different. Every city is going to be different. This home, we really didn't end up with too many obstacles. We anticipated everything that we were having. We're going to have a little bit of fill and some site work. You know, when you're demolishing a house and bringing some other in, there's always going to be some additional grading and dirt work. But like, we have someone on site for McDonald, right? Is that so? We actually provide. So when you build tear down or a brand new build, new neighborhood, we come out and look at the site, right? So our construction director comes in and he can figure out all that. Is that right? Correct. And you know, I think the biggest thing that people are concerned about with doing an offsite or a tear down is you don't want those unexpected surprises, because you might be already in the project, you might already have a hole in the ground, and the worst phone call that you got to make to a buyer is to say, hey, by the way, it's going to be an additional X, Y, and Z to bring some dirt in, or we need this for A, B, C reasons. And you know, it can happen regardless of all the due diligence you do. On this site though, we knew the septic was technically compliant for the existing structure. Okay. So we knew though, after expanding the home, that the high water level on the property was going to make us have to do some septic work. Yeah. So we already had that expectation. We knew it was going to happen. So no real surprise, but those kind of items can take place. And every city is going to be different when it comes to certain items. Okay, so Greg, you're talking about the obstacles. And if you have any questions, you can always visit our website at www.mcdonaldconstruction.com. Reach out, have a discovery meeting, and we are willing to answer all your questions. So now, I bet you all are thinking, how long is a tear down? And, you know, the demolishing, digging, and then rebuilding. So what would you say about that, Greg? Well, you know, the teardown itself can go extremely fast. I've had a lot of homeowners just be surprised of, hey, the house was here and now the house is gone. Good. But if you use a program like Better Futures, though, you are going to have a little longer time frame in that, but sometimes that's okay because you still have planning, you're working on the new design, you're making your selections, so we can kind of move forward with the front end of due diligence before, you know, it's all taken down. You know, depending on the city, it doesn't really interfere too much with the regular time frame that we'd see in new construction. So I would anticipate about a year, give or take. Awesome. But really,
as long as you get some planning done, the biggest obstacle is gonna be if the city requires some additional things that we can't anticipate. So if it's adding rain gardens, if it's adding if they have issues with where the site actually lays. And,
That's
you know,
good to
but
know.
we try to get ahead of that, and we try to anticipate with the cities that we have worked with, so we don't have to be dangerous.
Absolutely, we've done this before. We're the true experts of our teardowns. So I do have to ask you, Greg, if someone is kind of wavering between, okay, I want a renovation or do I do a teardown? Can you explain, and I know we can't cover it all, but what are some things that you can ask a customer to really think about if they want to do a renovation, which sometimes that even is longer because you have an older home and you're trying to add on to new. So trying to speak the new home to the old home, sometimes there's a lot of mishaps. Can you kind of expand on that? On what would you talk to our customers about if they were in between the two?
Yeah, you know, I would definitely look at the site specifically. Some sites won't really allow you to do much for a total tear down, and you're going to be forced for the renovation work. But you know, at the end of the day, I've had a lot of homeowners that ended up going through the renovation process, and the cost gets pretty high in comparison to even tearing it down. And a lot of times you're going to make concessions. You're not going to replace your windows. You're not going to you're not going to have new insulation typically. You're not going to have a lot of the things that the new home is going to offer.
Yeah.
And then also you know, the way the kitchens were designed years and years ago are a little bit different now. So
100%.
you're gonna have some compromises on that overall plan. But I think renovations are a great solution for the home or specific houses. But I would definitely recommend not living there during the renovation process.
Speaking from experience, maybe. Okay, so you did talk about floor plan. I love that. So compromising floor plan. So can you talk about this specific one that we're in right now, Greg?
So this is a custom version of our Willow floor plan. We had a model of this down in Chaska. It's a great layout. You know, it just has a very great open feel. A lot of great windows. We added a fifth bedroom and an ensuite on the main floor, but really the buyers didn't have to make many changes to the plan because it is a really well thought out plan and worked through the plan before we started building it. It's been very popular for us. But
so maybe we can talk about a video of like a signature plan versus custom. Maybe we have that going on, because when you talk about our signature plan, so our Willow is one of our signature plans, which is more of like that Scandinavian, right? The high peaks, the bonus room, the windows, you'll see it here. So when you say they don't have to make much tweaks, that sounds like a pretty good deal when you love what you see and then you can make some minor tweaks and still be okay and stay within budget and personalize it. Oh, I love that.
Personalize instead of customize, I would say.
Yes.
Because everybody is going to live different, but if you get the opportunity to walk through a home, and really, when we design these plans, it will be at frame stage and we will make some changes. Because on paper, sometimes things look amazing, and then you get through the whole process and you're like, oh, yeah, this doesn't quite make sense. So that's always a risk that you have with going like with a full custom plan. We really do try to mitigate that with our team and design team and architects, but it is always a risk.
Yep. So it's sometimes if you want to go right to contract, look at our signature plans, eh?
And then you know the price.
And then you know the price.
That is a very nice thing.
Which we love. Okay, so we're so excited. We're gonna give you maybe a little bit of walkthrough of the home. It is still getting ready for our homeowners. And then we have another teardown, which we're gonna add to this video at another location. So we're ready to show you that one as well.
Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully everybody has a great day.
Yes, and we'll see you soon.